Hey everybody, what's going on? Dace here, and today we're taking a look at something I cleared literally just like a minute or two ago, and that is Gunbird on normal difficulty. So I think this is going to be a very short video, so I'm probably just going to talk about like my thoughts and my brief like history with the game and my approach and that kind of stuff. So I'll attempt to get as much going as I can here. So this character has always been my favorite. There's just something about the fast recharge speed of the melee attack that has always just really been awesome, and just the damage output. And so I knew, like, for my first clear, I definitely wanted to use this character for that. And like I've been playing this game for probably a couple years. Like when I first got into shmups, I think in 2019, I got the Psycho games, of course, and I jumped in, had a blast checking these games out, but it's not like I ever really buckled down. And I would occasionally jump in every so often, play for like a few nights, like maybe like 30 minutes, an hour or whatever, not really do well, and then kind of just get on to other things, because it was like, oh man, like no way to really practice the things I want to practice. And it's strange because like the lag on Switch, sometimes I notice it in certain games, and then other times I'll come back, play the same game on this collection, and it's like I don't even notice it at all. This time around, I definitely felt that was the case. And another thing that was kind of a bit of a tricky thing, sometimes the D-pad on the Pro Controller is like perfect for retro shmups. In this game specifically, I found that things were kind of wonky. Like sometimes I would just be doing diagonals when I didn't want to be doing, and so that would sometimes cost me lives and stuff like that. And one of the biggest things I noticed for the lag this time around was like my bomb usage. Sometimes I would have more than enough time, and I would see what is happening, like what's coming at me, and I would be like, okay, well, I have like a minute to just like fire a little more, and then I would press my bomb button, and then, oh wow, somehow I've already taken a hit. So it's like, so there were a bunch of like things that I had to adjust to really get a handle on this, because of, yeah, just how I was experiencing the lag this time around, even though other games, and this one even sometimes I didn't appear to notice it for whatever reason. So it's really strange how that works, or how that has been the experience. But anyway, the last few days, this is by no means like a clean run. I have put very little learning into this. In ways, I am tempted to do like a no bomb, no miss, because I think that's what would really be fun. But at the same time, this was kind of more or less like a jump in, do like a quick clear, like a casual clear, whatever, and potentially get at other things. We'll see. I was really inspired to start jumping into the Psycho games again, because Uncle Skosh has been clearing a whole bunch of those, and it's just been a blast. And so I felt like, yeah, you know what, it's been a while since I played these, I want to get right into it. So yeah, the last couple nights I've actually been doing runs, and I think the biggest thing that would always finish the runs, well, actually, I was restarting quite a bit, just because, like, the wonky movement sometimes, having, like, 6 bombs in stock and taking a hit, like, just over really silly things, that posed some issues and stuff. So I think that's kind of, like, what prolonged it, because I was, like, wanting to play and like just have as many resources as possible. So if I like would fumble something too early, it was like, oh, like whatever. Even though normally I just play runs to completion, there was just something about this where it was like, oh man, like let's just restart. And I think part of that too is like when you know it's a 10-minute game or something ridiculously short like that, you don't really mind doing like the repetitive portions, like the starting stages again. So normally what I do is I usually use my first bomb in this stage during the boat section. Like sometimes that just gets really crazy, and I haven't really, like I said, I haven't like practiced or memorized anything here. So that is like probably when things start to feel pretty hectic. But the one I did use earlier, just in that last stage, was just because, like, yeah, sometimes I just miscalculate or whatever, and then stuff's just too wild and I don't want to risk taking a hit. In the past, this stage would always be the one that gave me the most trouble. Actually, yeah, like, I'm actually fairly new to the later stages of this game. Like, I think in the past I maybe made it to the stage after this like 1 or 2 times tops. So pretty much everything else is just new for me. And I do know like some of the like methods. Oh, that was like another poor thing, but again, I just did not want to take a chance there. I'm familiar with like a few methods that really come in handy for certain parts. But overall, I do feel like I don't really have a, or at least I don't apply as solid of a grasp as I could on specific parts. Again, there, it's like I could have just positioned myself a little more, yeah, just a little better, and that probably would have gone more smoothly. So this is, I was just like, oh, you know what, okay, we're just gonna keep doing it, whatever. But normally taking a hit there, it's like, oh, like, how is the rest of the run gonna go if that's already happening here? Like, you gotta be joking me. And with this safe spot, there are some times where I still get hit, even though I'm like more often than not, I'm fine to be in that spot. But there are some, like the odd time, he'll still shoot me, and I'm not sure what triggers that or what's up with that, but that's something I started noticing. Another thing that I found made a big difference. In the past, I would use her melee very aggressively, kind of like in Visara. Well, actually, no. It's a mix. It's a balance between aggressive, like, offense and defense in Visara. And here, what I found is like, yeah, sure, you want to like keep the pressure on by using the melee because it does a lot of damage, and you can just like clean up. But at the same time, there are specific sections where it's better to just time things and use it to cancel out an attack that is happening right at that moment so that you don't have to dodge anything. So I think when I realized that in one of my previous phases with the game, that was like a big turning point. It's like, why am I going crazy with this thing when I can actually just time things a little better and then go through certain sections like a breeze? So that's certainly what I used here for certain parts. Just being a little more smart with my abilities and stuff like that. But all in all, like, I love the Psycho games for their level design, the boss designs, like just the visuals and everything. They're pretty pesky games, that is for sure. Sometimes I can do this, like sometimes he's toast already, this boss, and I normally don't need to use a bomb there, but I was like, you know what? I've already taken one hit. I don't want to lose anything else because it's going to get really ridiculous really quickly if I just keep throwing all these lives away when I could just use my bombs. So at this point, it's like I had no thoughts of like, oh yeah, this run's going great. This could be it. This was like, man, I've made such brutal mistakes already and have used far too many bombs. But I was just thinking, you know what? We'll just go to the end and see what happens. Now these fights coming up, for the most part, they're not so crazy, but I still sometimes like fumble. I think the thing is, like, because I'm using D-pad, sometimes like when I could be doing tap dodging, I'm like overshooting my movements more than I realize, until of course it's too late because you're taking hits. And I think if I was actually using arcade stick for this, it would probably be way, way better. Again, there's a bomb where it's like, yeah, just to be on the safe side, you use one and now you have 0. I saw this guy for the first time, I think, earlier this morning when I did a short session with this game. So I'm not sure how many different bosses can show up. but I'm still seeing new ones. It's crazy. I saw a new one yesterday too. It's really cool how this is set up. Oh, and there I was so tempted. I was like, oh, you know what? Like, how did I take a hit to that? I never mess up that skull one. And yet there's a prime situation where it's like you're just messing everything up. And I was like, you know what? No, let's just not fumble this, please. Oh, so yeah, it's been a wild ride. Like, this is certainly one that, yeah, I'm kind of torn. Like, I would love to, I think if I was playing this on MAME, I would probably feel way better about how it controls, because I feel like it would just feel like night and day control-wise. And I think that would make a big difference. And then having save states to just like perfect certain boss fights and stuff. But yeah, I have not put much time into this game. So like this fight here, it's like I have no idea really what's going on, how to like deal with this guy. So it's kind of just me doing the best that I can just to figure things out. And like when I saw those flying things, I was like, oh man, I don't even want to know what those things do. I was very, very thankful to just make it through here. So this is where I was thinking, okay, I have a bomb, and then if I take a hit and lose that life, I still have 2 more bombs. So I was like, there's some potential now. Like, as brutal and sloppy as this run has been, this might actually be the time I clear it, which is amusing. So I'm not too sure what this guy all does, but I think my approach was just keep the damage on. Oh, I knew I was like, why am I moving? As that was happening, I was like, oh, why don't I just stay still? But again, the D-pad, it's like you're sliding everywhere. It's crazy. So I was like, all right, we just need to like really clean up now. And then these bird things, I thought I was for sure gonna get hit there, because that was just like really, really cramped. And then we brought it down. I was like, oh my god. So for a first clear, like, it's interesting to see how it panned out. But yeah, it was like, it was just, it was one pretty rough run. And then I decided to just see what the second loop was like, just for a minute or so. I don't even last too long. Because, yeah, like, obviously there's a much better way to go about, like, managing situations where you know you have suicide bullets and stuff. But yeah, anyway, that's been cleared. Yeah, I kind of feel the same way about like Sengoku Blade. I would love to tackle the second loop, but at the same time, I don't want to have to like work my whole way through the first loop just to start practicing the second loop, because like this doesn't have save states or anything. So at the same time, I might, because like I love that game to such a degree that I might just start, yeah, jumping into that one again. But I think for the most part, I'll just be playing some other things. So yeah, very sloppy run. There's a lot I could actually learn and put into practice just to really clean things up. And I think that's where a no bomb route, no bomb, no miss, or whatever, would be a lot of fun and probably a great challenge to do. But anyway, thanks so much for checking this out. Have a stellar day, and we will see you next time, everybody.